Good morning, or whenever it is for you. I am going to start the day by recording a tip. Nobody's in the house, so I can record stuff. And I may, actually, it just occurred to me, I might try and record a tutorial too this morning since nobody's in the house. It's a nice time of day to do that. So we're going to start with the tip. I'm going to do the proxy one that I was going to do yesterday. So just going to cheat. Look at that really quick. Target this arg and args, and then target apply this arg and args. Okay, cool. Starting with the tip at 1:30. Okay. Let's start with this. So I'm kind of building this browser within a browser. We have an iframe here, and I want to be able to control the URL for what's in that iframe. And I also want to be able to listen to changes that happen inside the app from a routing perspective and update the URL there, as well as the query string in my URL at the top, so that you could copy this and send it to somebody. And I want to be able to go forward and back and all of that. And that's all working. And one of the things that I used to make that work, especially the part here in the iframe, is I needed to be able to listen to the route changes that the router inside of this app is making. But this is all client-side routing. It's using push state on the history API. And that doesn't fire any events of any kind, which is kind of annoying. So you can't listen for those events using like pop state or something like that, but you can use a proxy. So I want to show you, the tip today is how to use a proxy to kind of hijack the function that's built into the browser. The way I used to do this is I would say const old function equals window.history.push state, and then I would reassign push state to my own function and then call old function. But a proxy just feels a lot cleaner. So this is how I did that. We say window history.push state is equal to a new proxy window.history.push state. And then we have apply. There are a couple of configuration options you can make on this proxy. We only care about apply. And apply is going to accept the target, this argument, and args. And then inside of here, to make sure that we call into the thing that we're proxying, we use target.apply, and then we pass this argument and the args. Apply is something you may not have used in a while. That's certainly not something I use very often anymore, but it makes perfect sense for this so that we can always pass this argument. And then we close that off and close this off. And that's how you add a proxy. Now, of course, I want to do something myself. In my case, I'm doing a post message to the parent frame, but here we'll just do a console.log, and we'll say proxy called push state, and then we'll pass target this argument and args. And now if I say window.history.push state, and we say here's my state, here's my unused, and here's my the URL I want to go to, and I do that, you'll notice that the URL does get updated. So our target was applied. We did actually call window history push state, but I also got my log, and so I can take a look at that, and then I can do whatever I want to with that. So next time you find yourself wanting to hijack a method in JavaScript, take a look at the proxy. It seems like a pretty like it was built for this type of use case, and it works out like pretty easily, and you don't have to hang on to the old version and then call the old version or anything like that, and so it looks great. Hope that is helpful to you. Have a wonderful day. Okay, so that was 5:20-ish. Okay, great. And now I had one more tip that I wanted to record, and that was I wanted to talk about what I'm doing in here. Where are we? Zod, right here. So here's where I'm listening to the history call. Oh, this code looks way better. I'm so glad I waited to do the tip. It was not great before. It looks a lot better now. So here's that history call. And the problem is this is an edge. Here, let's see. Components index. Here we go. Yeah, we've got TypeScript isn't happy with proxies here, but that's okay. I don't want to have to explain why I'm doing this effect setup. That'll just be a distraction. And so we have this code that acts as is proxying all the history methods inside the child frame, and we post to the parent. And passing this method in args can be a challenge. Yep. And then here's where we listen to that message. So we have our event listener to handle the message. We get the event. The event has the data, which we are passing right here, but we don't actually know for certain that this type is what it says it is. So we're using Zod to manage that for us. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the Zod schema. I'll say message event dot data. Yeah. Okay, so we'll leave that as it is like that. And then we'll add the Zod schema, and I'll be like, and here's the Zod schema. I already made it. It's amazing. Okay, so tip at, oh, and let me label this. This is the first tip that I did was the proxy tip. And the second tip is the iframe tip. Hold on a second, I just realized I don't have centered running. I'm not getting credit for this. Okay. Yeah, so this is the Zod tip at 000950. In this code, no, let's see. I'm dealing with some iframes here. I know, it's not cool to deal with iframes, but this is a really cool use case, and I want to talk about how to make things a little more type safe when we're posting message from the child to the parent. So here is where I'm saying window parent post message. I pass it a type so that I can key off of that, make sure that the message that's getting posted is the one I want to care about. And then I also pass the method because we're proxying history here, and the arguments for that because I want to update the actual parent URL when things are being updated in the child, just the query string. And so then on the parent side of things, I'm listening to messages as they come in, and then I've got the handle message right here that takes that message event, and I check the data.type, make sure that it's the message I'm listening for. But I've got all this code that has no idea what this method is. It doesn't know what the data is. We've just got any's flying around all over the place, and the reason is that there's just no way to know for sure that this boundary is sending the data that you think it is. Like if I were to change this, whatever, it wouldn't actually know, because this isn't the exact same, this is a boundary that's around our application. Anytime you have those edges of your application, you've got to do some extra work to make that type safe. It's not like just calling a function. And so what we're going to do is use Zod to parse the data that's coming from the iframe to make sure that it is what we think it is. And if it's not, I'm fine throwing an error, because I don't want to continue, because who knows what will happen. So I'd rather throw an error early by parsing it with Zod and also get the type safety than not throw an error at all and just kind of hope that things are going to work out. And so what we're going to do is exactly what Copilot wants us to do. I actually already have this history call data schema right up here, where I've defined all of the possible permutations of the types of inputs that we can receive from this particular event. And so down here, I'm going to use Zod with this not safe parse. I don't care, I'm going to just throw an error. So we're just going to say parse, and this is going to give me my data here. So actually, I'm not going to destructure data. We've got the data right here, and then we can destructure the method, and everything should be good. But let's see that it doesn't seem like it is capturing that quite right. So let's look at that. Here, I'm probably going to have to re-record this. Huh. Yeah, that's weird. What did I do wrong? I did something wrong. Parse message event data. I do have a path. We're going to have to redo this one. Oh, I know what's going on. Yeah, whoops. This should just be data here. Yeah, okay. We're going to start that one over because I didn't know what I was doing. Let's see. What's an easier way to write this? Yeah, if we write it like that, then it'll be easier, and maybe Copilot won't spoil it. Okay, starting over, the Zod tip starts at 1340-ish. So I'm communicating from a child iframe to a parent iframe, and this, for the parent, is a boundary. So we don't have any type safety when going across boundaries like network boundaries, I/O boundaries like file system and stuff like that. And this is another one where we're posting a message to the parent. You don't get type safety there because it's not like you're just calling a function, and you can't really be sure that the types that you're passing along are the types that you're expecting. So even though I'm saying, okay, window parent post message, here's my type, and here are my methods and my args and all of that, on the parent side of this, we're listening to the messages that are coming from the children, and we're just filtering out anything that's not the KCD shop history call. And so we just exit early, that's fine. But then the rest of this code has no idea what this data is. This data is any. It doesn't know. There's no way to know for certain that it is what you want. And I would rather throw an error or just exit early than continue to process things. And so we're going to do some checking of the data to not only throw an error if the data is not what we expect, but also give us some nice type safety so our development experience is a lot better. And we're going to use Zod to do this, of course, because Zod is an amazing validation library. I've already written this out because it's a lot to write out. I don't think you want me to want to watch me write a Zod schema, but this is what it looks like. Basically, these messages have a data property where all of them have a type of KCD shop history call, and then it could be any one of these things. So it's either push state with these args or replace state with these args, so on and so forth. So as long as it's one of those things, then we should be able to proceed. And so we're going to use that history call schema, and we're going to parse the message event data. And that is going to give us on the other end data that is fully type safe and exactly what we expect it to be. It's going to be an object that has a type and then additional properties of one of these. And that works out really nicely for us. And one other thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to provide a path right here. So if there is an error, I can say, hey, this was on the message event data property. And so if we get an error message, it's a nice error message that explains exactly what the problem was. And now all of my code is type safe, and I know for certain that if we get past this line of code, that we're good to proceed because we got what we expected. And that is thanks to Zod, the amazing schema validation library. I hope that's helpful to you. Have a nice day. That was pretty good. Okay, so that's 1624. Okay, great. I got my tips. Boom. Yep, got both of those done. Cool. Okay, so now what am I missing? Yeah, I think we're good. So I'm thinking that I want to record the SQLite fly tutorial. Yep, I think that's what I want to do. So let's see, we're gonna open Node SQLite fly tutorial in VS Code. Bring that over here. Get rid of this and that, and just delete or close all these things. All gone. And close this. And oh, whoops! I closed the wrong thing. And my laptop is, the fan is running again. That's weird. Maybe, you know what? They probably programmed into it to turn on the fan as soon as the M2 chip came out so that I want to buy the M2 laptop. Those stinkers. Oh, well. Okay, let's see here. So one thing that I want to do, actually, you know what? No, that's fine. What? No. This is supposed to be on the bottom. Thank you. Does that not persist? That would be really annoying. Okay. So, we've got the init app. I wonder if I should open these in their own individual VS Code instances. I think I should. I think that would make more sense. So init app. Yeah, that would look a lot nicer. Now, is this a workspace though? No, it's not. Okay. So I do have node modules in here, everything. Yeah, that's good. No! That's annoying. I do not want to have to do that every time, especially since I'm about to open 8 of these. Good grief. Okay, so we're going to close this down. I am going to have it over here though, or at least in the terminal, so that I can do a git diff no index on steps 01 and steps 02. The funny thing about the no index is that it will actually do a diff across all of node modules too. But luckily, since node modules is unchanged, we won't see that in here. Apparently not. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't show up. I'm not going to show this in the video, so it's fine. That is very green. Okay, yeah, so we add the fly toml. That's interesting. Yeah, so it's literally just adding the fly toml. which, yeah, how do you do that? Fly launch. Here, actually, you know what? First, we need to sign up for an account and stuff. I should show that first. Okay. Fly.io. And I will set up a dummy account for this. So let me go. I don't think the dashboard shows anything you shouldn't see, but just in case, let's sign out. And let's fly auth logout locally also. Okay, cool. So we'll say go to get started. We'll install Fly. Just got a important message. Okay. Okay, so then we say install however it works for you, and then you'll want to sign up with your email or GitHub. So I will go do this, and I'll say fly auth sign up. I think I should get rid of this. That's a distraction. No. Oh, you know what? Let's do this will be flyify. There we go. Cool. So now I can flyify. Ta-da! So now I don't have that distraction, which is good. And then we say say fly auth sign up. That'll pull this open, and then we'll enter our name, email, password. I'm kind of thinking is probably going to ask for a credit card, and well, I'm probably not going to be showing my face, so I can pause and stuff, and I can switch you all to just looking at my face while I type in the credit card, and then I can hide it in the video later. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So once I finish signing up, then it works, and then fly auth login, and then we do the fly launch. Oops. And yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. That part will be tricky. I'll have to look at the diff after that. Here, let's do this. Fly auth login. Okay, and then fly launch. No, no. And they start you out with a Docker file. Should we just do that? Wonder. Here, let me just double check my dashboard and delete whatever it made. Okay. All right. Fly, launch, build, pack. Build, pack, right? Okay. Well, part of me is like, I'm just going to paste a fly toml in here, and you can use the exact same thing and dive into the details later if that is important to you. We'll be changing things that are important as we go. I think I might do that. It's no worse than just like fly launch, choose the default thing, boom, that's generated for you. Okay, somebody just came home, so I'm gonna go and make sure that I'm still good to do this. So I'll be right back. Okay, it sounds like they are probably going to be leaving, so we're probably good. I'm just going to go to centered and give me another, like, yeah, while before the break. And I'm also going to update my task. Record deploying to fly tutorial. Okay. Yeah, the fact that I'm recording a tutorial that will be available for purchase on Epic Web. I'm still questioning whether I should do that. I think it's probably fine. Part of me is like I should, so because not everybody can afford it, and so this is one way that I can reach those people. I'm gonna ask some advice from a trusted friend. Yeah, we'll just see what he says. Okay, we'll record the first one, and then if he says that's probably a bad idea, then I will probably change it. Okay. Okay, you know what, ESLint, you can be turned off. Disable. Reload required. Sure. Okay. We should probably start by showing the app that we're going to be building, or that we have built that we want to dun, 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 dun. And it is persisted in a database, so I can update this and refresh and boom, 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 and refresh and boom, there it is. It's not a very complicated app, but it should be enough to get us going. It's not using any frameworks. However, it is using Prisma because however, it is using an ORM so that we can learn how to deploy with things like migrations. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Who's clearing that? Oh, I know who's clearing it. Okay. That's fine. That's fine if it's clearing it. That's not a big deal. And should I say, people can follow along? I don't know if I should say that. Fly auth logout. And sign out. Okay, let me just do one last thing. Okay, cool. And I'm going to stand, which means I move the camera. So I have more headroom because I'm taller when I stand. And okay. Should I take my jacket off? Yeah, we'll do that. I'm wearing my React shirt today, so that's fun. Should I have the microphone like up to my face? I wish that I could turn this boom, but it's only these degrees. It doesn't have a turning degree of motion. Well, it technically sort of does, but this doesn't allow it to turn like that. So, not the boom's fault. Oh well. Let's go here. It looks awesome. 333, that's right. We're going to start right here. It looks a lot more epic than my little demo app. You know what? Maybe I should just take a second to make the demo app look nicer. There's really not much there. No, we're not going to spend any time in the demo app anyway. Okay, so we'll start here. And you know what? We'll probably start with my face. I don't know. Screen flow. Let's get that rolling. Okay, record. Let's add. There we go. Stereo. Look at that. That looks good. And also my face. Look at that. And that looks good also. It just occurred to me that if we have the green screen behind me, maybe I shouldn't have the green screen for this. My background doesn't look all that interesting. We're going to have the green screen, and they can stick space background on it or something. Yeah. Or maybe we don't use my face at all. Or maybe we put me in the corner like I am right now. The problem with putting me in the corner like I am right now is if it's edited, which it will be, then my face will jump around and stuff, and we don't want that. So I'll just do the green screen because my background doesn't look that good anyway, and we'll they can do with it whatever they will. Okay, here we go. Hi, Hayes. Thank you so much for editing these videos. At least I was told that you were the one. If your name is not Hayes and you're editing the videos, thank you for editing the videos. Okay, great. So we're going to start this over, get a clean slate there. And let's get, you know what? Actually, I almost forgot. Let's go with this. That doesn't seem big enough. Huh. That really doesn't seem big enough. Is that big enough? Sorry. Yeah, I think it's actually big enough. Yeah, that's fine. One thing though, I used to say I didn't want to have multiple file things up there, but I think where's the tabs? Yeah, I think I want to have that from now on. Okay, and we'll scooch this over a bit also. Give us plenty of space. I kind of feel like maybe I should bump the font size of that too. All right, I'm going to restart the recording because that's a waste of video space. So, right, terminal, integrated terminal font size, editor font size. Oh, there it is. We're going to bump this up to 22, 3, 2, and do this as 20. Yeah, now we're talking. Nice and almost unbearable for me. I feel like actually the this thing, the File Explorer, no. Zoom, is there a oops. VS Code Explorer font size. Okay, so we set the zoom level up more and then reduce the font size, so 2.5. And then this can be 18, this can be 16. Yeah, okay, I think that looks better. This is still pretty small compared to everything else, but I think that's okay. Okay. Huh. Whoa. That actually might come in handy when I'm doing a lot of things in the editor and whatever, or in the terminal. Okay, I think this looks good. Now we can do this. I'm going to pretend or talk to Hayes again. Hey Hayes, thank you so much for taking the time to edit these videos. At least I was told, Hayes, that you were going to be the one who's editing the videos, but if it's not you, then thank you, whoever you are. Thank you for helping make this as amazing as it could possibly be. Okay. Hey, and welcome to the Deploying to Fly. How are we going to do that? It's deploying distributed apps to deploying distributed apps on the edge tutorial. That's what it's called. Hi there, my name is Kent C. Dodds, and I am really excited for you to join me on this journey for deploying distributed apps on the edge. We're going to be deploying our Node.js app on the edge with Fly.io. It will include distributed SQLite, so that we can have our data close to our app. Otherwise, like if you don't put your data close to your app, like what are you even doing deploying on the edge? So we're going to deploy both our data and our app to the edge. It's a Node.js app. It's pretty simple. Let's dive into the code before we get started. So actually, before we get into the code, let's look at what the app actually, oh man, gonna have to start that over. That intro was actually probably fine if we just do my face, but I don't know how we're going to edit that, so we're going to do a new intro. We're going to, I want to reduce the amount of editing necessary. So I kind of do want to start here. Yeah. All right, you could just do my face, whatever you want to do, Hayes. You can work something out. I know it's like really green back here. Put something else there. My background in my office does not look all that interesting or useful. So we're going to go with maybe a space theme or something. So here we go. Hello there, my name is Kent C. Dodds, and I am so excited that you've joined me on this journey to learn how to deploy distributed Node.js apps all over the world, not just the app, but also the data. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to both deploy the Node.js app as well as the SQLite database to the edge with Fly.io. I think you're going to love this. Let's take a look at the app first. So this is Fly right here. If we go over to the app that I have running locally, it's just a counter app. There's nothing like super interesting here, but it has all of the pieces that we need to like keep that piece simple so that we can focus on the thing that we're trying to learn. One thing that's important to note is that it is running and saving that data to a database. And so we will have to deal with databases, and we'll also look at what it takes to deploy migrations as well. So the app code, like I said, pretty simple. We're literally just using the HTTP module from Node itself. We're using Prisma for managing our database because it has a really nice migration story, and it's honestly my favorite ORM. But what we are talking about could apply to whatever database ORM that you're using for SQLite. And then we have our get current count to get the current count from the database. We're parsing a form body. And yep, this is literally just sending raw HTML on all of this. You can inspect the code later if you want to. We'll get into this a little bit, but most of the time is going to be spent hanging out in the terminal and working with fly config and stuff like that. So buckle up. This is going to be a fun ride deploying our app servers close to our users, not just the app servers, but also the data, because if you don't do the data too, then you kind of lose out on a lot of the benefits. So we're going to talk about both, and we're going to deploy to multiple regions using Fly. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you in the tutorial. Okay, great. So that's the first bit. I think Hayes, I'm just going to keep this going, and we'll just record it, record the whole thing, kind of as a nice flow. So that's the first video. Cut. Okay, so from here, we want to, sign up for Fly. So, yeah. And we don't need the demo app up anymore. To get started with Fly, To get started with Fly, we're going to go to fly.io and get started. And this is actually a pretty handy tutorial for getting going with Fly, and we'll follow a couple of these instructions. So first we want to install Fly. I already have it installed, but you can just go to this page to look at the different ways that you can install it on macOS, Linux, and Windows. So whatever your platform is that you're using, just use that installation instructions there, and then you can go to sign up. This is a command that you run. In the tutorial and in the docs, you will sometimes see fly CTL. I think that's flight control or something, flight control. I don't know what that is. But it's also alias to simply fly. And so I always just use fly because it's 3 characters that I don't have to type, and I can save those characters for another time. So we're going to run this fly auth sign up here in our terminal. So let's pop this up like this, fly auth sign up. And that'll take you to the browser. You can sign up with GitHub, or you can sign up with an email and address. So I'm going to just sign up with an email and address, and I'm going to call myself Cody Koala. And this is me plus Cody at kentcdodds.com. I'm going to delete this account after this tutorial. Don't worry about it. And we'll give a password here and create my account. And with that account created, you do have to supply a payment method because this is hosting and they do need to make money. But you do have a really generous free tier, and you should actually be able to go through this whole tutorial on a new account without having to pay anything. So we can try it for free, but you do have to get started with a credit card. So I'm going to click on this. Oh my gosh, you don't. Okay, we're going to back that up. Ah, that's awesome. So I think if you take my face away, we should be able to just use the screen, and I'm going to re-record the voiceover for that page. So yeah, so that way we don't have to redo all of that. So, and now you have the option to enter your credit card to join the hobby plan, but you can just click this little link here to try Fly for free, and you should be able to get through the whole tutorial for, let me say that again. So now Fly is asking for your credit card because they are a business and they're in the business of making money, and you can, oh, let me try that again. So now they're going to ask for your credit card because they are a business and they're in the business of making money. But for this tutorial, you can actually make it through the whole thing on their free plan. And so we'll go ahead and click this try Fly for free. And now we're all signed up. Okay. Great, so that's a good voiceover for that. I don't know what you want to do with my face and video. Like, feel free to, I don't know, whatever you want to do, Hayes. You're really good at what you do. I'll let you just do it. Okay. Great, so now with us being signed up, we can come over here and see that we were successfully logged in. And so let's move on to the next step, which is to sign in, which of course we just logged in, so we don't need to worry about that. But if you ever get logged out, you can actually fly auth log out if you want to, and we'll do that so I can show you what that looks like. And then you say fly auth log in, and that'll pull open a new window where, because I'm already signed in this browser, I can just continue as me at kentcdodds. But you could actually sign in as a different user, and just username and password will get you in. So with that, we'll try Fly for free and continue to launch app. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can launch a new app on Fly. You can use Fly launch with a specific image. You can point to a specific Docker file. You can already have a Fly toml. However you want to do it, there are various ways to do it. And each one of these is going to generate a config for you. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to give you a config that's a really good starting point. And if you want to dive deeper into each one of these config options, be my guest. But we will be touching parts of these config options as we go to get this deployed in multiple regions. So let's go over to our app now, and we're going to make a new file called fly.toml. And I'm going to paste in the Fly toml that we're going to use. And now I'm going to grab that here. And paste that here. And you can have that happen when I say paste it, I guess. So feel free to inspect this as much as you like. The things that are important here is that your app name is unique across all of Fly. So you can't have this be equal to anything else. So I'm actually going to add Cody at the end of mine to make sure mine is unique. And here we have the builder. We're going to change that a little bit later, but Fly has a built-in capability for deploying Node.js, and that's basically what this is doing. Here are some environment variables that are useful for us. In particular, the database URL is necessary for what we're going to be doing in deploying our database next to our server. This is a Fly database, or, gotta say that over again. This is a SQLite database that Prisma is going to be accessing, and Prisma expects this database URL that's configured in our Prisma schema right here. So if you look at data source DB, URL is database URL. So that is how Prisma's been configured. So we're going to make sure the database URL points to a file that's going to be in a persisted volume, which actually does, let's say that again. A persisted volume, which is what we configure next with this mounts option. So we have the source is data. We'll create that source volume here in just a moment with the CLI. And then we say where we want that volume to be mounted to, and that's at the /data route. And so our database URL is pointing to a file that will be created instead of that /data route. Now, when we deploy our app for the first time, SQLite, let me say that again. Now, when we deploy our app for the first time, Prisma will take care of creating that new database for us and handling migrations and all of that. So you don't have to worry about actually creating that file, but we do want to make sure that we create the persisted volume, which is a volume is basically just a, you can think of it as a hard drive that gets put into our virtual machine every time we deploy. So it's a persisted volume, a persisted piece of data that will survive across redeployments of our application. And so we're saying we're going to have, let me say that again. And so we're saying we're going to have one of these called data, and we're going to put it at the /data path in our file system. And Fly will take care of that for us. And then there's a bunch of other things in here that are important but are pretty standard for Fly configuration, like where our port is, and that's why we have our port at 8080 up here. It's because the internal port has been configured to 8080, and we've got concurrency configuration, other ports that are available, and for TLS, HTTPS, and that sort of thing. And then we even have a TCP check that will just, Fly will use to make sure that external traffic can connect to our application. So with all of that configuration, now we actually need to create a new app, and we need to create our database. And we'll get into that in the next part of the tutorial. For the Fly TOML, though, this is, no, I've gone too far. Dang it. I feel like, you know what? I feel like I need to do this differently. I should not have the mounts, and I should not have the env, or at least I shouldn't have the database URL. What should this next video be about? Just signing up, probably. Shoot. How far did that go? Okay, I'm gonna have to stop this recording. And I'll bring this over here so y'all can see it. Okay. I should have double checked that things were working anyway. These videos, at least I was told. Oh, snap. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, good. I was hearing music in the background, and it's centered over here that I had my volume down. And so when I turned my volume up for this, I heard the centered music. I'm like, oh no, did I record centered music as part of this? And no, I did not. So that's good. That would have been unfortunate. Hi there, my name is Kent Cedot. and it looks like I did not get my my video. So yeah, that's too bad. We're gonna have to start all over. Bummer. What? Oh, that's centered. Oh, that's fun. Okay, configure recording. Yeah, why? Huh. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm not sure why it didn't record my video. I think, you know what? Now I think about it, I don't think that I had it. No, I'm pretty sure I did. That's really annoying. Well, oh well. Gonna have to re-record all of this anyway. But now I have a much better idea of what all right, let me come over here. Let's go to the dashboard. Let's go to settings, deactivation. Yes, delete. Okay, cool. So I can start over with that. And we'll get rid of this. Okay. What is that? Why is it clickable? Okay, whatever. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. Okie dokie. Okay, so it looks like it should be recording everything, but I'm just going to double check that it's recording what I think it is. So hopefully it is. It is, where is my, yeah, it's not recording my camera. What gives? Huh. Okay. Here I am. We're recording the video. Do you see the video? No, it's not there. What? You know what? It could be that because OBS is open, it's using my video. I wonder if I just go here. Now my camera LED is still on, so that I think maybe it might be that I can't record ScreenFlow, but we're gonna try one other thing. I can't record ScreenFlow while I'm recording or doing OBS. If we go to this instead, and then we try that. Hello, video, are you working? We'll see. Okay, now it's working. So I think, let me just verify. That's interesting. So if the device that's being used in OBS is the same one as the one I recorded here. So I don't know. I don't know why that didn't work, but we're going to try once more to make sure. There's a really loud train horn happening right now. That doesn't happen very often. Okay, did this work? Please work. Yes, it should work. All right, sweet. Very often. Okay, did this work? Please work. Yes, it should work. All right, here we go. For realsies this time. Hey Hayes, thank you so much for editing these videos for me. At least I was told that Hayes would be editing these videos. So if that is you, thank you. If you're somebody else, then thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to edit these for me. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to just do this as one long video that you can chop up into individual videos. Also, I'm recording my face. I'm going to give you two videos, one that's my face and one that's the screen, and you can do whatever you want to with that. The face obviously has this big green screen behind me, in part because I think it'd be cool to stick me in the corner, but also because my background isn't all that interesting, and so I think it'd be better if you put like some space-themed thing behind me or something like that. I don't know. I'll leave you to your creative liberties there. So. And then, of course, sometimes it'll just be me on the screen. Other times I won't be on the screen at all. The one thing I don't want to have is me jumping around and stuff. So I don't want to have my face on screen when cuts need to be made. Be appropriate to remove me from screen, or maybe only show me as a full screen and never put me in the corner or whatever. But yeah, again, I'll leave you to your creative liberties there, and feel free to ask for feedback if you want. So with all that said, let's get started. And this will just be the intro video, and then we'll get into actual doing stuff video. So you may not actually use the screen recording for this part. Or actually you probably will, because I think I'm going to demo the app and stuff. So here we go. Hey everybody, my name is Kent C. Dodds, and I am so excited that you have decided to join me on this tutorial to learn how to deploy distributed Node.js apps with your data all over the world. I am excited about this because I feel like it makes for better user experiences, and we have some really fantastic tools. So in this tutorial, we're going to be deploying our Node.js app and our SQLite database on fly.io, which has multiple regions all over the world, so you can get your data and your app as close to the user as possible. Their tagline is deploy app servers close to your users, run your full stack of apps and databases all over the world, no ops required. And Fly is amazing at this, so I'm excited to take you through this. I want to give you a quick look at our demo app, what we're going to be using, and then we can get into this. So the demo app itself is actually really simple. It's literally just a counter, but this count is actually persisted in the database, and so we can make sure that like deploying migrations and stuff happens, and we have persisted volumes and all of that. So we should be able to get pretty good exposure to what Fly is capable of, and then you can extrapolate that to more complex applications. So the application, like I said, very simple. We have HTTP from Node.js, so it's just like the regular HTTP module, not even using Express or Fastify or any of those. We do have Prisma, because Prisma has really nice migrations, and frankly, Prisma is by far the best ORM for JavaScript and TypeScript and Node that I have experienced. It's fantastic. Then we just have basic application code going on in here. Nothing that you really need to worry yourself too much about. There's not a whole lot here. Like I said, it's pretty simple. It is written in TypeScript, so we make sure that we know where we run things like a build, and the same sort of thing for any tests or something like that. And then also we have Prisma here so that we know when it's appropriate to run migrations and that sort of thing as well. So we're going to get started with this. I hope that you're ready and excited like I am to deploy your distributed app all over the world. And I'll add one other thing, and that is that deploying distributed apps is actually a pretty complicated thing in general. Fly makes it actually really straightforward, but the way that I'm going to do this tutorial is that you can follow along with me in your own app and then stop at the point where you feel like I'm getting the right trade-offs for my application, because in a lot of cases, you actually don't need to run in multiple regions. You're probably just fine with your particular constraints and use cases and requirements to just deploy to a single region. And if that's you, then go ahead and stop partway through this tutorial, and you can feel free to watch the rest. But if you feel like your application necessitates the complexities of multi-region, then continue to follow along with the extra multi-region stuff. And maybe eventually our tools will get so good that you won't even be able to feel a difference between deploying in a single region and deploying in multiple. But with all of that said, I hope that you enjoy this journey with me and that you can build excellent user experiences with the tools that we have these days. See you in the tutorial. Okay, that was a great first recording. I don't feel like you should have to edit too much, hopefully. So with that said, I'm technically, Center just told me I have a break, but I'm not going to take a break because I'm literally recording for Haze right now. I guess I could pause, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to plow through. So here we go. We can close that. We can turn this off. Okay. To get started with Fly, we're going to click on the Get Started on fly.io. This is going to have a little mini tutorial itself, and we're going to follow some of these steps. So install Fly. I have Fly installed already on my machine, but if you don't, then depending on what architecture or what oh, let me say that again. I'm actually going to start over. So let's do that. To get started with Fly, you go to fly.io and click on Get Started. Yep, that's pretty straightforward. So we're going to follow a couple of these instructions here. The first step is to install Fly CTL. I'm not sure what Fly CTL stands for. I just use Fly, and that's Alias, the CLI that we're going to be installing. You can both use Fly CTL and just Fly. I use Fly simply. You'll see in the documentation sometimes they use Fly, sometimes they use Fly CTL. Just use Fly all the time. But in this case, depending on whether you're on Mac, Linux, or Windows, you're going to install Fly on your machine. I have it already installed on my Mac. However you want to install it, just follow the instructions on this page. Once you have that installed, and if you have any trouble at any time, I should mention, there is this awesome community on Fly. If you go to this discourse icon up here, it's community.fly.io. It's fantastic. And so if you ever get stuck, like installing Fly or whatever else you're doing, go to this community. They're awesome. So once you get things installed, then we'll go to the sign up. And you run fly auth sign up to get signed up. So I'm going to do that right here, fly auth sign up. And that's going to open up your browser where you can sign up for a new account. You can either sign up with GitHub or fill in their form. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to be Cody the koala, and that's me plus Cody at kentcdodds.com. And then we'll put in a good password and create our account. Now it's going to ask us for a payment method so we can get started with their free tier. We can actually skip this, and in our tutorial we should be able to get through the whole thing without having to pay for anything because they have a pretty generous free tier. But remember that Fly is a business, and if you're running a profitable business on top of Fly, don't be surprised when you have to pay them money so that they can themselves pay the bills. But in our case, we can just click this Try Fly for free, and we're all set. If we go back to our terminal, we see that we successfully logged in as me plus Cody at kentcdodds, and so I am logged in. Now, if at any point you need to log out, you say fly auth log out, and that will log you out. And then if you need to log in again, you can say fly auth log in, and that will again open up your browser. And in my case, I was already signed in the browser, and so I can just click on continue as me at kentcdodds, or I can sign in as a different user. So I will just continue. And now we've got another new token available locally here. So with
All of that said, we are logged into Fly. The next thing that Fly wants you to do is launch the app. Oh, you know what? We're gonna just do a nice cut or something, cut to my face or whatever. We're done. I think actually you should be able to just cut at before I say with all of that said. And that's how you get signed up. Let's see. And that's how you get signed up and authorized to run Fly from your machine. No, I want to say that differently. And that's how you get signed up and authorized. And that's how you get signed up for Fly. There you go. That's good. Okay, next video. So let's, we're going to skip all the rest of this. Go to Fly dashboard. Here we go. And let me grab this in my clipboard. We'll get rid of that, and we'll add that ourselves. Stick that there, and I'm going to run another git diff. There we go. So I can look at that. Over here, okay, cool. So now I delete this file. We'll create it ourselves. Okay. So if we look at our Fly dashboard, it's pretty empty. They are giving us all sorts of documentation on how to deploy specific types of apps. For us, we're going to do just the very, very basic stuff, and we'll add the different levels of complexity as we go. So in our application, I'm going to add a fly.toml file, and in here, I'm going to paste in a config that we're going to use and like sort of build off of to get started. So the first thing here is the app name. We need to give it a let me say that differently. So the first thing that we need to address is the app name. This needs to be globally unique across all of Fly, and we could have it generate one for us, but I'm pretty sure we'd be safe to just say SQLite. What did I call it? But we should be pretty safe to just call it node SQLite Fly tutorial Cody. And if you get a failure deployment, it's maybe because you should change the name at the end or something. So that's our app name. The rest of this stuff is actually pretty standard Fly stuff, with the exception of the build. We're using a build pack, which is based on a Node.js build pack. So it will deploy Node specifically for us. And this is a built-in feature with Fly, and we are actually going to change this a little bit later, but we're going to just get to the most simple thing that we can do right from the get-go, and then we can add a little layer on complexity as we go. So we're going to start with this simple builder. And then our environment, we have our port is 8080. That's the internal port that we have configured for our services. And then our node environment is production, because this is going to be our production environment. And then we've got a couple other pieces of configuration that are pretty standard for Fly as well. We have concurrency, our ports, and a TCP check to make sure that our application is ready to start accepting traffic. If you want to understand these any deeper, then you can literally just look up Fly config, and now let me try that again. Fly toml config. If you want to look any deeper at any of these configuration options, then you can go fly toml config, and that will take you to the app configuration fly toml, where you can look much deeper at all of these different options that you have available at your disposal. But this should be enough for us to get the fly app up and running. So let's do that. We're going to say fly create. Shoot, I don't remember. Hold on a second. I look at this so many times, the Indie stack. It has the instructions. Fly apps create. And I think we could actually do fly launch. Yeah, let's do fly apps create. So we'll say fly apps create, and this, no. So let's create our app. Let's grab this. So let's create our app. We'll go grab our app name, and we'll say fly apps create and provide our app name. Ah, man. We need payment. Shoot. Man. Okay, we're going to have to back up. Man, this stinks. Pretty much have to back it up almost to the beginning. Yeah, so the first video that I did that introduced the app, we can keep that. But I'm actually going to just stop this to make Hayes' job easier. So we... To get started with Fly, we're going to click on the... All right. That we have these days. See you in the tutorial. Okay, that was a great... All right. So the rest of that is worthless. That's unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to just save this. We'll export it later. Where's my screen flow? Okay, deployment tutorial. Okay. Great. So now, that is not what I meant to do. We're going to go settings, deactivation, delete, yes. Okay, and then fly auth logout. And okay. Wait a second. Okay, let's try this again. There we go.
Okay, now let's do another recording, and I'm gonna double check that it's getting my video. So hello video. Yes, okay, good. To get started with Fly, you go to fly.io and click on Get Started. The first step here is to install flyctl. This is the Fly command line interface that you use on your local machine to configure Fly and do all sorts of things. You'll notice in the documentation for Fly that sometimes it uses flyctl and sometimes it uses simply Fly. That's because they both work, and I always just use Fly. I'm not sure why they have flyctl. Just use Fly. But regardless, whatever your machine is, whether it's Mac OS, Linux, or Windows, they have instructions here on how you get things installed. I already have things installed myself, and I installed things using Brew because I have Homebrew to manage all sorts of things, but you install it however you see fit. I do recommend Homebrew myself if you're on Mac OS, and then you can move on to the sign up. But I want to add also that if you do run into problems in the installation process or anything else with Fly, Fly has a really great community. And if you click on this discourse icon or logo up in the top right, you'll go to community.fly.io, where you can create new questions and answer other people's questions and participate in the community. It's a really awesome community, and they're really helpful if you ever run into any issues. So let's move on to the sign up, where you run fly auth sign up. So we'll run that in our terminal, and this will open up the sign up page where you can sign up. You type in your full name, email, and password. So I'll say Cody the koala, and that's me plus Cody at kentcdodds.com, and I'll type in a password. Probably I recommend a password manager. And then here it's going to ask for a payment method, because remember that Fly is a business and they need to pay the bills. However, their free tier is actually really good, and so even though you enter a credit card number in here, you're probably not going to be charged if you're just following this tutorial. So don't worry about that, but you do need to provide a credit card if you want to go through this tutorial with me, and of course if you want to actually deploy and manage an app on their hosting platform. So hold on a second while I move this, move the live stream to looking just at my face for a second. And then Hayes, hopefully you can chop that in a good way. And let's see, I think I'll use a privacy card. Let's see if I can do that on stream or in the recording. That way I can cancel it later. So I'm going to go ahead and enter a card right here with privacy.com. Oh man. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to have to chop out a bunch of this stuff. Let's see. Privacy. And with that entered in, yeah, I'll blur all that out before I even send it over to Hayes. I'm going to go add card. And with that card added to our account, we're now able to use Fly. Okay, let me move this over. Now you can see it again. Okay. So let's go back to our terminal, and we see that we successfully logged in and we're ready to rock and roll with Fly. Oh yeah, let me show how to log in and stuff. If at any time you need to log out, then you say fly auth logout, and that will log you out of Fly. And then if you need to log back in again, you say fly auth login, and that will open up your browser again. And if you're logged in as in your browser, then you can simply click on continue, or you can sign in as a different user. Or if you're not logged in your browser, then you just enter your credentials and continue. So I'm going to continue as me plus Cody, and now we're signed in again. And that's how you sign up for Fly. Okay,
Good. Now I'm going to go ahead and edit out the part where I enter a credit card number. And so I'm going to do that on this screen over here so you all can't see it. You know what? I'm actually like kind of okay. It's a privacy number. Oh, but I do show 1Password in here, so it probably better not. And I wonder, yeah, it does show the full credit card number, so I don't want to do that. And I don't want to show the zip either. So, we're going to stop right there. That way I can cancel it. And let's see. Everybody. And let's see. I think I'll use a privacy card. Let's see. An app on their hosting platform. So hold on a second while I move on their hosting platform. Okay, so we get all of that. Cut that out. And then blur out the card. Okay. Hold on. No, this is. Sorry, you can't see this. Here, let's see. Screen flow blur part of the screen.
Hey guys, it's Paul. I just want to do a really
Paul.
quick video of your screen. Or in the care but line it. I'm going to go and add and I'm going to put mouse cursor, these little shapes up here, and then I can change blur.
Okay, that's all I needed to see. So we get that, add that, and then we make it. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Oh, freehand. Okay. Freehand. That does not look good. Let me try that again. Okay. Actually, you know what? Oh, that's much better. I can do a box. Cool. Okay, opacity and blur. Boom, baby. Sweet. Okay, cool. So then, hosting platform. And with that entered in, okay. And with that entered in, yeah, I'll blur all that out before I even send it over to his. I'm gonna go add card. Yeah, I'll blur all that out. I'm gonna go add card. And okay, cool. That blur thing is pretty cool. Ooh, zoom up. Whoa! We're gonna zoom up the blur. That's kind of fun. Blur background. Oh, nope, just kidding. Okay, great. Thanks, random YouTube citizen. Okay, cool.
And with that card added to our account, we're now able to use Fly.
Okay, O2, sign up. Okay, great. So now we're going to record the next one, and hopefully the rest of these aren't so complicated. So we're signed in, and I think, yeah, they're all going to be complicated. Here we go. Let's make sure this camera thing works. Camera, because I don't trust it. Yeah, okay, it worked. Okay, and we go to dashboard. Oh, prevent you from fully using the platform. Dang it. Probably should confirm the email in the last video. I'm gonna need to open the last one and see if I can just attach this to the end.
And that's how you sign up for Fly. Plugged in your browser, then you just enter your credentials and continue. So I'm going to continue as me plus free, and now we're signed in again. And log out, then you say Fly off, log out, and that will log you out of Fly. And then if you need to log back again, you say.
Okay.
So let's go back to our terminal, and we see that we successfully logged in, and we're ready to rock and roll with Fly.
Okay, I'm gonna just add a voiceover. Let's see, how can I do this?
Oh yeah, let me show how to log in and stuff.
Okay. So here, I was on Fly sign up, or I think this, oh, whoops. Okay, we're gonna try this. Get started, sign up. Yep, and then Fly.io docs sign up welcome. And then Fly.io dashboard. Nope, thanks though. I don't like that. Okay, cool. So now I'm logged in, and I'm just going to insert this in there. Oh, whoops. Yep. Here we go. So now let's go to the Fly dashboard. If we go to fly.io, and then if we go to fly.io and we're signed in, now this link at the top says dashboard. So we go to fly.io/dashboard, which will take us to fly.io/dashboard. And now it's giving us tips on how to deploy various frameworks and things. But one thing here is it says your email is not confirmed. So we need to verify our email. So you'll just go to your email, click on the link to verify, and you'll be verified. Now, I want to show you one more thing, and that's how to log in. And log out with Fly from the command line. All right, and that'll work out just fine. And part of that is just voiceover.
We're ready to rock and roll with Fly.
Okay, so we'll move that over here and then put this in that place. Sorry, I guess I can show you this now. Whoop. Okay. Okay.
With Fly. So now let's go to the Fly dashboard. If we go to fly.io
And then if we go to fly.io and we're signed in, now this link at the top says dashboard. We go to fly.io/dashboard, which will take us to fly.io/dashboard. And now it's giving us tips on how to deploy various frameworks and things. But one thing here is it says your email is not confirmed, so we need to verify our email. So you just go to your email, click on the link to verify, and you'll be verified. Now I want to show you one more thing, and that's how to log in. And log out and log out. And email you to send, and it'll be
Okay.
and you'll refresh everything, and then it's verified. Now I want to.
Okay, and this bit.
Oh yeah, let me show how to log in stuff. If at any time you need to please leave now, hit that fit.
Okay. Kind of think that jump is actually fine.
It'll be verified. If at any time you need to
Yeah, that's fine.
log out, then you say fly off, log out.
Just make sure that it doesn't do something weird.
Fly off, log in, and that will open up your browser again. And if you're logged in in your browser, then you can simply click on continue, or you can sign in as a different user. Or if you're not logged in your browser, then you just enter your credentials and continue. So I'm going to continue, press cookie, and now we're signed in again. And that's how you sign up for Fly.
Okay, that's good. Now, people aren't going to be like, "What? It didn't work because yada yada yada." No, I told you to verify. So let me verify myself really quick. Verify email. And now we're verified. Dun, 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 dun. And we're all set there. Okay, cool. I need a drink of water. Come on. Okay, let me just take a look at something here. Okay. So now okay, so for this video, this is me setting up the initial fly yeah, actually that would be good. So creating a fly app and then creating a persisted storage volume should be two separate steps. So that actually makes me think I should formalize that in the repo as two separate steps. So we're going to make this 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, whoop. Oh, yeah, 4, 3, and then this will be O2, persisted volume, and then 1, and oh, actually no, this one is the persisted volume. And that will actually be 3, initfly will be 2. And initfly will be missing the database URL. Well, actually, no, we'll keep the database URL. But we'll be missing the mount. So the only difference between initfly and persisted volume is this mounts config.
replace all that. There we go. Cool. So now, add persisted volume step. Okay, cool. So our initFly step has this. We're going to call this Cody. I've got that in my clipboard waiting to be used. Here we go. On the dashboard, it gives you links to a bunch of documentation for deploying different kinds of apps. And each one of these will eventually just generate a config for you. And so we're going to start with a pretty minimal config, and I'll explain some of that, and then we'll add to it as we go. So for our config, we'll come into our app, and we'll say fly.toml is a new file at the root of our project. Then I'm going to paste in this config, and we'll talk about this just a little bit. So the first thing here that's really important is the app name. This needs to be globally unique across all of Fly. And so if you run into a problem with Fly not deploying properly or something, then it could be that your name is not globally unique. Now, when you run Fly apps create or Fly launch or one of the other CLI commands, they will ask you if you want to generate a new app name. And so you can do that and it will generate a unique one for you. But if you want to have something more specific, then you want to specify something that's both specific and unique across all of Fly. Then we also have this builder. And this is for support for Node itself. Eventually we'll be using a Docker container, but this is the most basic form of deploying Node.js on Fly is with this builder config. And then we have our environment variables that we want in our virtual machine that Fly will manage for us. So we have our port. This is port 8080 because we've also configured the internal port to be port 8080. So whatever that is, you want to keep those in sync. And then, and that port is what our application is going to be looking for in the process env. So that's why that's important. No pun intended. And Node env is production because this is a Node project and certain modules behave differently in production. So we want to have that. And then our database URL is used by our Prisma configuration. If you look at the schema.prisma, we have our URL is specified to be whatever the environment variable for database URL is, which is pretty typical for Prisma. And so we've specified that to be a file that is in /data/SQLite.db because this is a SQLite database. And Prisma will take care of creating that new database the first time we deploy this. And then we have some other config that's pretty typical config for Fly. And if you ever want to get a deeper understanding of these config options, you can literally just search for Fly toml configuration, and it will bring you to this document page that has a whole bunch of details on these configuration options. So feel free to peruse those to get a deeper understanding for this config, but pretty much anytime you're going to be working with Fly, you're going to just generate this file once and then kind of leave it there and then make slight changes to it as you go. So with the configuration all set up, the next step is to create the app and actually get it deployed. So we're going to say fly apps create, and here it's going to let us choose a name, or we can leave it blank. We've already chosen a name. I'm going to use this one. Again, you'll want yours to be unique, or you can just use the generated one and they'll make sure it's unique for you. So I'll paste that in, and then it adds that to my account because I'm logged in locally, and now we've got a new app created. And with that, that's really it. So now I can say fly deploy, and we just wait for Fly to deploy our app. Now this is going to take quite some time, and because it needs to download a bunch of stuff and then upload a bunch of stuff. So especially since this is the first time we're deploying this. So just hang tight, and I'm going to speed up the video so you can watch it all in super fast motion, and then we can move on and see our app get deployed. I'm not totally against playing the Jeopardy theme music right now. Uh-oh, we have one that needs to retry. That is unfortunate. I don't want to have to redo this. We don't need to speed that retrying thing up. Ooh, that's not good. What the heck happened to that? So if this does end up working out after retrying, let's just cut that out. I don't want you to speed that up. Just speed everything else up and then cut it to the end, because that's not cool. You've got to be joking. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna run this again, and feel free to move VoiceOver where it needs to be. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So just pop it into place wherever it needs to go and put VoiceOver wherever it's appropriate. I think you can manage that. Oh, shoot, we're retrying again. You gotta be kidding. This is a really bad time to have this not work. Good grief. Ah, shoot. Okay, well. Oh, good. Okay. Just speed that up, make it magically appear, whatever. It does take quite a while the first time. This is why you don't use build packs. It's pretty slow. But I want to introduce things slowly, and jumping straight to Docker just didn't seem like the best way to go about this. But maybe I'm wrong. Sheesh. Okay, well, we're gonna just look at this. Okay, I have no idea what that means. Wow, that's crazy. Maybe I should just jump. It's got 50 gigs of storage. Good grief. Yeah, maybe I should just jump straight to Docker. Ah, great. Oh, good. Oh, we are downloading. All right, just gonna, I don't know what to do. I hope this works eventually. I'm gonna, oh, good. Whew, I was about to give up. There's no escaping Docker. You're going to run into Docker. Here it's doing Docker right now. But the fact is that you don't have to do the Docker stuff, and that's why I'm including this. It's like, if you're cool with just using their Docker build pack thing, then that's fine. So each step, it's going to be like, so if you're cool with where we're at right now, then feel free to continue like this. But if you need this, then follow along. Okay, actually, so you can speed up to here, and now I'm going to voice over. Whew, okay, so that took a little while, but again, it's going to be faster the next time, quite a bit faster, and it's pretty simple config. You didn't have to build your own Docker image or anything. Like, they took care of that for you. And so now it's created our release, and now it's monitoring our deployment. It's actually doing a health check because our config has a TCP health check in there, so it's making sure that it can connect. And it looks like that is actually kind of happening. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up another terminal here so that we can monitor this, and we'll say fly logs. And this will show me the logs for the app that I created. So it's starting the instance, configuring the virtual machine, pulling the container, and that's going to take a little bit as well. But we should start seeing the log for our starting of the app. So if we come down here and look at our start here, we say start server listening at this specific URL. And so we should see that log happen when the server has actually started. So unpacking the image, that's a good sign. Fly is still monitoring the deployment for us. We could actually cancel this command right now, and it wouldn't stop the deployment from happening, because now we're at the monitoring stage of the deployment. So it's going to happen now. And it looks like we've got an unhandled promise rejection, permission denied, because we couldn't migrate a database because we don't actually have access to the data directory, because it doesn't exist. Ah, shoot. That is a waste. Yeah, that's not gonna fly. No pun intended. Ah, great. Okay. What stinks about this too is that I can't deploy another app of the same name. I have to change the app name. Okay, now I've forgotten how far along we got. I think, you know what? I think I'm going to do the actual deployment as a separate video, and we'll just say configuring Fly for a basic Node app is that video, and then deploying Fly will be a separate one. Good grief. get it deployed. So we're going to say, so with the configuration all set up, the next step is to create the app and actually and make slight changes to it as you go.
Okay.
To it as you go.
And I will add the closing line there. And that's how you configure Fly for a basic Node application. Okay.
You go. And that you go. And that's how you configure Fly for a basic Node application.
Okay. So 023 configure Fly for basic Node. Okay. Great. So, shoot. I just realized, I think I made a mistake. I think I need to do the Fly apps create. Yeah, we need to keep the Fly apps create piece. Whoopsies. Okay.
Slight changes to it as you go. So with the configuration all set up, the next step is to create the app and actually get it deployed. So we're going to say Fly apps create. And here it's going to let us choose a name, or we can leave.
Ah, shoot. See, because if I want to do Fly apps create again, I have to choose a different name than the one I chose. I can never create another app called Node SQLite Fly Tutorial Cody again. So I think what we're going to do is maybe I will keep the video that I had before when I did that create, and maybe voice over it differently or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so we're gonna clear, flyify, clear, there we go. Get rid of that one. Okay.
Actually get it deployed. So we're app. The next step is to create the app and actually get it deployed. So the next step is to create that. You go. So
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
And that's how you configure Fly for a basic Node application. So with the configuration all set up, the next step is to create the app. So with the configuration all set up, the next step is to create the app and actually get it deployed. So we're going to say Fly apps create, and here it's going to let us choose a name, or we can leave it blank.
Okay, I'm actually good with that. We're just going to. Oh, right, no, I gotta back it up even further because this database URL thing is not gonna work. Ah, shoot. Yeah, rats. All right, I think I need to just re-record that whole one.
Anybody thinks that creating something like Epic React or Epic Web is easy is just out of their mind. They don't know anything. This is so hard to make good content like this. It is so hard. It takes so much time. Okay, so what we were going to have to do is I'm going to delete this app. We're going to have to name it something else. And you know what? I'm actually not going to give it a name. So we're going to have this be, I don't know. I don't know what directories are available. I think we could probably do that. I think that'll work. Yeah, pretty sure that should work. And then here, to do, I wonder what happens if we just don't do that. No app name. No, why? We'll say Cody's. There we go. That's what we're going to do. I kind of want it to generate, so that way when people are doing it, they don't have to worry about choosing the name. This will be generated. Okay, so then if I say fly apps create, it does not update this. Okay, so let's come in here. We'll delete the one it just made. Okay, and let's try this. Fly launch. Okay, cool. And then, yeah, the fly launch is better. Yep, is much better. Oh, hold on. It made a Docker file for me. Dang it. Okay, no, we're going to do fly apps create instead. Okay, we'll do to do, and then when we do fly apps create, we'll copy it into our fly toml. That's what we're going to do. Okay. Jeez. Okay. Okay, here we go. In our Fly dashboard, it just is giving us a bunch of links to documentation for how to get an app up and running in various frameworks and with various deployment strategies. For us, we're going to go with as basic as possible and then work on improving our config as we go. So what I'm going to do first is we'll add a new file to the root of our project called fly.toml. And I'm going to paste in a basic config for this. Hold on a second. And I'm going to paste in a basic config for this that is the bare minimum stuff that we're going to need for this app to get running. The first thing on here is the app name. So we're just assigning it to do because we're going to let Fly actually generate an app name for us, and we'll put it into here once Fly has done that. The reason for this is that the app name actually needs to be globally unique across all of Fly, and so you can maybe enter something in that is sensible and you think is unique, or you just let Fly generate something for you. And then we have this build section. So this is using build packs, if you're familiar with that from the Heroku days. So this actually is Fly's built-in mechanism for deploying Node apps, so you don't have to worry about a Docker file or anything like that. We will add our own Docker file later, but for the very basic setup for Node.js, this works out great. And then we have our environment variables. So our application needs a couple environment variables. One is the port, because that's how we know what port to listen on down here when we say listen. And then that's configured to port 8080 because our services configure the internal port to be 8080. So we configure those to be the same. And then our node environment is production because some modules behave a little differently in production than they do in development. So we want to make sure that our node environment is set to that. And then our database URL is set to file./SQLite.db so that Prisma can create that file for us and do the migrations and all of that. And Prisma is configured to reference the database URL environment variable. So that's why we need to make sure we set that as well. So with all of that set up, we should actually be ready to get this app created and deployed on Fly. The rest of this stuff is pretty basic Fly configuration stuff, and you can dive in a little deeper if you want to. Simply look up Fly toml configuration, and there's plenty of stuff for you to read. So feel free, grab yourself a nice cup of hot chocolate or something and read through this if you so desire. But for us, this is everything that we need to get our Fly application configured for the most basic Node.js deployment that we can think of. Okay, that is video cut. I think that's good to have that separate. Now we're going to go to actually creating the app. Now that we have our Fly toml all configured here, we need to interact with Fly on the CLI. So we're going to do that. We're going to create a new app with Fly apps create. And this is going to ask us to choose an app name or leave blank to generate one. We're going to go ahead and let it generate one for us. And that is I see sunset, yada, yada, yada. So we'll just copy that and paste it in our Fly toml here. And so with that app created now, we can go ahead and deploy this with simply Fly deploy. And now Fly is going to read our config, and it determines how our application is supposed to be built with this build pack. And one thing that it does is it actually, in our dashboard, if we refresh this now, it creates that app that we had created, and it also is creating this new app called a builder. Now this is a free app that Fly manages itself. It's just listed in our apps here, but you can actually look at this. You can look at the monitoring, you can look at the logs and see what it's up to, even the metrics and everything. It's basically a total basic app, although it is kind of a beast of a machine if you look a little deeper into how big the volume is and the amount of memory it has. It's a bit of a beast of a machine, but it's going to be used to actually do the building of our application, and then our actual application can be monitored here, and it's going to take a while before that actually happens. Now, for the first time that we run this, it's actually going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff, downloading a bunch of things into our builder. This is going to take quite a while, so we're going to speed this up for you so you don't have to wait so long. All right, so Hayes, this has to retry I don't even know how many times. This takes quite a while for the first time. And so I don't really care for them to see this retrying, or at least have that part sped up. So go ahead and when this finishes, I want you to just cut to next pieces and maybe speed up some pieces. Yeah, right here, we could speed this piece up. Stuff like that until we get to the next part where I actually start talking. So this is going to take a little while, but hopefully not crazy long. Okay. Last time I did this, it did take quite a while. It was really annoying. Yeah, so we got to about this part and then it sat there and just did nothing for a while. Do. This will finish eventually. It does take a while, though. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to voice over some of this. All right, cool. So that does take a long time. It won't take as long the next time you deploy. But see, now it's actually doing some node specific stuff. You can read through some of this. It's running our build for us. It's configuring the Docker file and running the Docker build. And then it's pushing the Docker image over to Fly, where Fly can take that Docker image and deploy it to our virtual machine. So we're getting pretty close, but this does take quite a while. And you can speed this part up too, any part that we're just hanging out. All right, so now that it's pushed our image, now Fly can actually create a release, and it's deploying our new release. And now actually that it's monitoring the deployment, we could actually stop right now. We hit Control-C or whatever to stop the process because it is actually deploying. And so if we want to, we can make a new terminal and run fly logs. And this will show us the logs of what's going on right now. So it's starting our instance. It started the virtual machine. The environment variables were loaded from .env. That comes from Prisma, does that. And then the data source DB, SQLite database, SQLite at file SQLite DB. One migration found, so it deployed our migrations for us, or there were no pending migrations to apply. So it started the app, and now we're at localhost 8080, which of course, this is going to be public on the actual full internet, so it's not going to be localhost. Where it will actually be deployed is at the name of our app, .fly.dev. So we can get that in various ways. Here we can say fly. We can say icsunset.fly.dev. Ah, dang it! I was worried that wouldn't work. Oh, shoot! What went wrong? Yeah, I'm concerned about the fact that it said there are no migrations. I think that's the problem. Yeah, dang it! Did I not commit the migrations? Or did the migrations not come along? Man, what happened? Yeah, I was concerned when it said there were no migrations, like, no, pretty sure there are migrations. Why did it say no migrations? Oh, I forgot to explain the start file too. Dang. This one is gonna kill me. The rest of this stuff is like pretty easy. This one is just a pain. I don't think it has to do with the persisted volume. Like it's fine. It just creates a file. Migration lock, Talmal provider. Why didn't it notice the migration file? Gah. No pending migrations to apply. Why not? Oh my gosh, I committed the SQLite database. That's what it was. Yeah, it sent the SQLite database. Okay, so we're gonna redo all of this again. I know how to avoid that. Here, and actually let's, we're gonna just flyify here. So now if I make a new terminal, it's already flyified. Okay. Golly. We'll get there. Okay, I've got to stop this. Luckily, I got the config thing. Separate. Next thing that we need to get our Fly application configured for the most basic Node.js deployment that we can think of. Okay, that ending is so stupid. So we're gonna do that over again. A nice cup of hot you so desire. This is everything that we need to get on read through this if you so desire. But for us, desire. All right. Hey, I gave this an ending that I thought was no good, so I'm going to re-record the ending. And I think you just want to use my my face as the video, probably. If I guess just in case I'll have this in the background too. Oh, hold on a second. I think, let me just double check. Yeah, that should say to do. Okay, cool. So if you want to use this background, feel free. But so that's so again, this is a really basic Node.js setup that should work for really simple Node.js applications on fly.io. Now let me try that again. But what we have here is sufficient fly toml configuration for a really basic Node.js setup, so we're going to start with this. Okay, that is good. Due to an internal error, the recording has unexpectedly terminated. Great. Get our fly application configured for the most basic. Let's try that again. And will this work? Okay, good. So the ending I recorded for this I didn't like, so we're going to try again. But for us, this fly toml is the most no, let's try that again. But for us, just getting started, this fly toml is sufficient for the most basic Node.js deployment on Fly. All right, that's good. Okay, just gonna save that on top of this. Replace. Okay. Okay, we gotta delete this builder because we need to make a new builder. Okay, so now the solution to my problem is, yeah, we'll just do that. Or, hold on. We'll put it inside of what if we do data? There we go. It'll stick it inside of Prisma, but it's called data, so it should be better. It's not the way it's going to end up anyway, so we're fine. Oh, shoot. Dang it. The config won't even work because it was that. Let's see. You know what? Oh no, I showed the SQLite database there. Dang it. Yeah, we gotta start over. All over with the config one. All right, we're gonna do that after lunch. I'm gonna go take a break. Spent like an hour or more on this one. Good grief, people. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna come back this afternoon and we'll record it again. See you this afternoon.